Hello everyone and welcome to the Tiny Cabin. We are Bruce and Kayla, and to start off this video we wanted to talk a little bit about ourselves, the land, the tiny cabin, and our 5-year plan. We grew up in the country in a small town in Nova Scotia. Growing up and even into our adult life, you could always find us doing things out in nature. Four-wheeling, fishing, camp building, camping, and waterfalling. We started dating when I was 15 and he was 16. It was actually on a four-wheeling trip with some mutual friends when I reached out to him, and the rest is history. Here we are doing life together for the last 16 years. Throughout our 20s, we always thought we needed all the money in the bank with the expensive cars and the big fancy house, but once you start achieving those, you quickly realize how wrong you are. In our late 20s and now 30s, we have come to realize that what is most important is time, and we don't get enough of it in our lifetime, so why waste it? That's why we decided that we wanted a lifestyle change. It was time to get out of our comfort zone, start living our life for us, and head into the woods in our off-grid tiny cabin. Living an off-grid lifestyle gives us the chance to slow down, to learn how to become self-reliant, how to live off the land, work less, and live more. We built this 10 by 20 off-grid cabin with mostly recycled materials that we had lying around or stuff we found on Marketplace. We were able to save a lot of money, which allowed us to purchase more important things that we needed to buy new. We are very lucky to be able to build this tiny cabin on family-owned land. This land has been passed down through Bruce's dad's family, who we get to share it with alongside Bruce's brother and sister. This piece of land is roughly 5 acres, enough land that we all get to share a piece of it while still having some privacy, but the end goal is for us to purchase our own piece. We have a big 5-year plan, but one that is very much achievable. Like every homesteader, we have a list of things we would love to see on our future property. We haven't really thought about where we would like to have this piece of land, whether it's around where we are or in another province. That will be the biggest decision when we get to that point. Having a minimum of 10 acres is what we envision to live our off-grid dream life. We'd like to see mostly woodland, so we are able to mill our own lumber to build our future home and whatever else we would like. Water is very important, so we would like to see some water access on the property. I would love to be able to clear a nice flat piece for a garden. I love gardening and would love to build my dream garden that would grow and produce enough food for myself and my family, and maybe even try and grow some fruit trees. We will spend the next 5 years learning what it takes to really live off-grid, relying on ourselves for many day-to-day necessities. We will save up money to be able to purchase this land as well. We really can't wait to see what the next 5 years is going to look like for us. We can't thank you guys enough for all the support since being back on YouTube. We love creating content and sharing our lives with you. If homesteading, off-grid, self-reliant, and everything in between is something you enjoy watching, or if this is how you live your life and you'd like to continue on this journey with us, then you should consider subscribing. It's free, and that way there you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thank you guys so much. Now let's see what we get up to this week at the tiny cabin.
So we bought cupboards like 3 years ago, and it was $1,900 for the whole set. And instead of getting rid of it and selling it, we just decided just to bring it down here because we're going to need cupboards anyway. We really wanted to make custom cupboards, but we didn't really want to get into that right now. Maybe later on we will, but we'll definitely make a different countertop. But these are pretty bougie for down here in the cabin, but we already had them, so might as well use them. So today we're going to be installing these cupboards. Some of these cupboards may not go up because it's a little bit too big, but maybe we'll use it in the bathroom or something. We'll figure out a spot for them anyway. Come this way a little bit though. Okay, hold it right there. There was a couple extra cupboards we had. We were thinking about putting one here, but it's going to be way too close to the wood stove. It's pretty close already, but the wood stove does have to move over a little bit. But worst comes to worst, we could always build like a little wall with a piece of steel on it anyway. You got it?
Yep.
So the cupboards that we have at our place now is actually super high, and Kayla couldn't even reach the top of the one, so this one here is a little bit
much easier. Actually reach.
Is that level up there?
That's flush.
Is it?
Yeah. up a little.
Why is it so crooked? Is this level not working, dude? I think it's a level. Go back and look at that.
You got it?
Yeah.
It's gonna fall.
There's something wrong with the level.
What the? Where's the big level? Yeah, spot on. it's pretty spot on.
There's no way.
Yeah. Okay, so it has to go up a little. Down just a hair. Perfect there. Oh, yeah, see, it's hard. It has to go down. Down. Down just a little hair. Okay. Right here?
Yeah. Guess that.
There you go. Oh yeah, way better.
We had an old picture of these being hung up, and for some reason we thought we couldn't get all these cupboards in here. And once we got these up here, we kind of realized that, man, maybe we could get all the cupboards in here. I don't know, one of us did the measurements wrong or whatever, but it's looking like we can get all the cupboards in now, so we're super excited. But we unfortunately have to take these back down and revamp it a little bit. Do that for a second.
Yeah. So I'll show you how the top cupboards went. We had a few issues with figuring out the right design because this kitchen is a lot smaller than the kitchen that it came out of. So there was a lot of putting ones up, putting ones down, seeing what was gonna fit where, especially with our fridge and stove. This is the top. We're gonna be installing the bottom this weekend, but we have a cupboard over here and it's just far enough away from the wood stove. And then there will be one here for the bottom and then our sink. And then we have our corner one and a big one and a small one. And then here is gonna be our stove and our fridge. So that's gonna work out nicely. And it just gives the door enough to open on an angle, which is not ideal, but I think it's gonna work well for us. And we had an extra one. I don't have the lights on, so it's probably gonna be super dark. So I don't have anything plugged in for lights right now, but we have so the toilet is right here and there's a little cubby hole right here. So we just put one of the extra ones here that's gonna hold towels and toilet paper and any extra stuff that we have. And then over in this corner, we have another small one. We aren't quite sure what we're gonna do with that small one yet. Probably just put it up in the shed or store it somewhere. We're not really sure yet, but we love the kitchen so far. It turned out great. We're gonna do the bottom ones this weekend and get that all installed with our sink and the countertop and everything. So that's gonna be in next week's video.
So since September, we've had heat on, and here it is almost May. So that is 8 months out of the year that we've had heat on. I mean, right now you're kind of just turning it on and off all the time just to get the chill out of the house. But it's kind of crazy that we're into almost the 8th month for heating season. I'll be glad when it starts to warm up here soon. Well, we're back inside this week on the tiny cabin. We are going to be doing a few things up in our loft, basically our bedroom. We've got a bed in the box here, and we're going to be putting some kind of rod up here to hang our clothes and finish the windowsill here. So I'm just taking the tape off there, and then we're going to get started on the window, but we're also doing another cool project up here in which we're going to be making our bed. I guess if you just put the mattress down on the floor, it may cause mold and stuff underneath of it, so we're going to be building just a little bit of a raised bed, not very high because our ceiling is already low enough, but just enough to let some airflow underneath there. So that'd be pretty exciting there this week. One thing that we need in our tiny house is more storage and a place to put our clothes. So with this railing, we're kind of thinking of maybe putting a platform here and maybe like a rod going across to hang up some of our clothes. So this was off our old cupboards that we had, and I was going to put this in the shed for my little workbench, but I think we're just going to end up using it in here. And I think the plan is we'll just slide this across here. We'll put a 2x4 or something to hold the other end up, and we'll put a rod up, and I think that will be it. And we didn't want to cover this up just because in the winter time and stuff you want to be able to see the fire, so we'll leave that open, and I hope this works. Oh yeah, that'll hold. We'll just be using roofing screws for this. I ran out of screws and these are black anyway, so it will look fine. we bought a 10-inch bed-in-the-box mattress. We haven't took it out of the box yet because we need some kind of match or a box spring to put it on. So right now that's what we're currently doing, is making this. I'm kind of just mapping it out to see where everything's going to go. And then we're going to take it up and build it. And then put it in. So we're going to put the strapping we'll put the strapping on like this, but our bed will sit down here. No, we wouldn't want it level, that'd be weird.
It'd be way too tall, too.
Yeah, okay, so that's what we'll do. So we're kind of debating on whether we would put maybe one here, and one here, but I've seen a lot of beds and they just put one in the middle, so that's what we're going to do, and that should, with all the strapping on there, should definitely hold what's going to be on there.
So we ordered this bed in a box off Amazon. It's a 10-inch, it's, I believe, green tea cooling bed. So if you guys are interested, I'll link it in the description. It was, I think, a little over 300 bucks. Really great reviews. So all you really do is you just take it out of the box, and I think you leave it for 72 hours, let it expand, and then you're good to use it. So I'm gonna see how well I can get this set up. Fits in here perfect. Yeah. First layer's off. Now it's the same on both sides, so that might be good for, like, usually you're supposed to flip your bed, I think, every like 6 months or something to keep the shape of it. So it's the same on both sides, so I'm just gonna lay it out the way it is. So when we took this out, there is a bottom. This is like a mesh, must be for like waterproofing, which is great because the moisture really holds up here. So that will prevent or give extra prevention for mold and stuff. But this is what the bed looks like. We're gonna give it 72 hours before we test it out or anything, but it feels really good, nice and soft. So it's been a few days since we set up the bed, and I think it's pretty well expanded. It's actually been like 3 or 4 days, but it feels really soft. There's a nice like memory foam feel to it, and then it just retakes its shape. So that's the bed. It's definitely a lot higher. I think we would have went with an 8-inch instead of a 10, but we never factored in building our box spring. So, but it's going to be cozy. There's still a decent amount of headroom. We also got the curtain rod installed. This is going to be for our clothes, like our sweaters and pants and stuff. And then down here, we're going to put our regular clothes. We're gonna put a wall right here, and then I'm gonna have curtains to close that so you're not staring at our clothes. But that turned out really cute. I liked it. I like it a lot.
So one thing that we're lacking down here is lights. So we went out and bought a $20 solar light set here for the woodshed, and we also got one for the front of the deck. This is just the start that we're going to be putting outside, but later on we want to get a lot more solar around here. And we currently still need solar panels for EcoFlows too, so we're definitely going to be upgrading our system here soon. So these are the same lights we have inside, other than these ones are solar. And I'm telling you, like, we plugged them into the EcoFlow, and it might take, I think it's like 5 to 10 watts. And that EcoFlow will run that for like, I think it was like 78 hours or something like that. So they're super easy on power. And you can pick these right up at Walmart. They do they?
Yeah.
Just long enough.
I know, it looks so nice though.